During this video, I'm going to show you the tenant journey on Vouch, just so you can get a good idea of what kind of communication they receive and a feel for what their app looks like. So straight away as you enter an applicant onto the Vouch dashboard, they will receive an email and a text message. I'm going to be completing this via email, but most tenants will complete it on their mobile phone using the text link. So here's a copy of the email they receive, and they receive a unique PIN number with their application, and they will need that PIN number every time they log on to their Vouch dashboard. We do send it to them on a number of occasions throughout the process, so it doesn't matter if they lose it. So I'm going to click Get Started and enter my PIN number of 0672, and then I just click Enter. And then it will represent the tenants with the basic information on the tenancy. So the property address that they're moving into, provisional moving date, tenancy term, unfurnished, rent, deposit, and who they're moving in with. So as an applicant, I will just click that I'm happy. It will then give me the opportunity to correct any email address mistakes or phone number mistakes. And it will also, if there's an issue with the spelling of my name, I can amend that as well. And then it will ask me for my date of birth. This is so that we can use it to link up to Equifax. So this applicant that I'm using is a test applicant, so the information isn't real, but it should return some credit information on Lisa. So then we build up a picture of the applicant that's going to be moving in. So I'm going to click that I'm renting and that I have a job. If I click that I'm not renting, obviously it won't ask for a landlord reference. Same with employed. If I put, for example, that I'm self-employed or a company director, it will ask for accountant's reference or end of year tax return as opposed to pay slips and an employer reference. Same with retired, it will ask for some evidence of income, student, and also not employed. It will be different information that we gather depending on their circumstances. So we then ask them how they're going to pay. And again, depending on what they click, we will ask for different information to document that, to evidence that. So I'm going to put regular income. And then how many others will be moving in, including children. There's no need to include Bob because we're already obtaining information on Bob. So I will put 1, just so you can all see how that screen will display. And then it will ask for my nationality. So I'm going to put that I'm a British citizen. Again, this drives what documentation we request for right to rent purposes. And the next screen is just a little bit of information about the tenant. Do they smoke and do they have any pets? If they click yes to pets, it will ask for the information on the pets. So I'm just going to click no. And then finally, it will take them to the declaration screen. So they can view the declaration on here, read through it, and just close it up, and then they would use their finger or the mouse just to sign on here. And once they're happy with that, they click that they're happy there, and then let's continue. Just as a quick heads up on this one, if a tenant is filling this in an iPad, they do need to have it in portrait mode, otherwise it won't let them continue. So if anyone calls and says, I can't get past the declaration page, just get them to flip their iPad the other way around. This next page that it's going to take us to is for GDPR purposes. So within the terms and conditions, it does state that the information will be passed on to utility companies, so council tax, water, gas, electric, and such forth, because as letting agents, there is an obligation to do those updates. But we just wanted it in here as an extra, just to be doubly sure that the tenant is aware that that will happen. So they can click there that they understand, and then let's continue. It will then present them with the information that they need to complete this application. So they can click that they've got to go and find things, and that will allow them to drop out, and it will put them back in later on. It will send them reminders later in the day. Or they can click, let's do this. So that's what I'm going to put. Now it's asking, do I have any adverse credit? So the tenant is asked for the opportunity to declare if they've got any IVAs or any CCJs, anything like that. So I'm going to keep that to no, and then move on. And then it will ask me for my address. So normally the applicant would just enter the postcode in there, and then it would present them with a drop-down menu and they could select the address. But as I'm using dummy data on here, because this applicant isn't real, obviously the address that I'm using isn't real. So I'm going to put that I need help finding my address. This is a good thing to know about, because if you've got any overseas applicants that say that they can't enter their overseas address, this is the way they would do it. So then they would enter the address manually, and it just allows them to type into the text box. So you can put any address in there from overseas. Or if it's a new development, sometimes the postcode doesn't show because it's not been registered, so they would need to do it this way as well. I'm going to pop that in. We do ask for 3 years worth of address history, but I'm going to put that I've been living there for 3 years. If they put less than 3 years, it will open another box and it will continue to go until it gets to the 3 years. On this page, we give them the opportunity to add any other addresses that they might not have resided at for the last couple of years. However, they may have a financial connection to them, such as students, for example, and recent graduates, if they've been living in student accommodation for the last 3 years, but everything is registered to the parental address, we do give them the opportunity to provide that information at this stage as well, so that we can present that information to Equifax and do a search on that address. I'm going to put that I've supplied them all of my addresses, and then it will ask who is the name of my landlord. So I'm going to put Jamie Tillier, and I'm going to, the applicants can't put their own email address in for the landlord reference or their own phone number. So I am just going to use a dummy email address so that I can progress on to the next stage. And then it asks me for my affordability. So based on the rental share that I put in there, I need to earn at least 7,500. So I'm going to click that I do earn that. If I click no, and that's verified by the employer, it will flag up the need for a guarantor at that stage. Now it's asking where do I work? So I'm going to put that I work at Vouch, and that I'm an admin assistant, and that I'm on a permanent contract. Again, if I put that I'm on a temporary contract and that is confirmed by the employer that the contract is less than the tenancy term, it will flag up the need for a guarantor. Then it will ask for the details of the person that they need to contact there, and it does say this needs to be someone in a position of authority, e.g. a line manager or HR department. I'm just going to pop Simon down there for my referee. And again, I'm just going to use a fictitious email address so that I can progress through this. And we do ask for mobile numbers. It does give them the option to enter a mobile number in for an employer and a landlord. And if they do provide that, we will send a text message as well. The majority of the landlord and employer references are filled in by email. So we also ask the applicants for an emergency contact. Some people do not enter emergency, some agents don't require emergency contact details. And if that is the case, we can turn that option off for you, but a lot of agents do like it. So if there's any emergencies, then that can be used. It is important to note that you can't use this as a guarantor details, because it is just for an emergency contact, not as a guarantor. So I am just going to type in their address there, and then move on to the next screen. So I did say that I was moving into the property with one other person, and I just wanted to show you how that displays. So if the person is over 18, it will open this drop-down menu here where it will ask them what their nationality is. And that's so that we can then obtain a copy of this additional person's passport or visa documentation. But if I put they're under 18, we don't obtain that for minors. So I just wanted to show you that screen. And then finally, it will ask the applicant to upload proof of ID, proof of address, and proof of funds. If an applicant is doing this on their mobile phone, it will open up their camera or their camera reel, whichever one they select. So I have got some documents saved on here as demo docs. So I'm going to click passport there, and then I just simply click upload. It does need to be a JPEG or a PDF, so that's quite important, and the documents can't be password protected. So proof of address, I'm going to put recent utility bill there. And then on the final section on the documents, they do have the option to upload up to 6 images. So I'm going to put a payslip, and then I will select payslip there. If they do want to upload more images, they just click that plus button there, and they can upload up to 6. We do request 3 to 6 months worth of pay slips, but that is at your discretion. If in your agency you are happy with the employer reference, you could remove the need for proof of funds. So the applicant then just clicks Save Progress, and then it will take them to their status screen. And as you can see on this, it says they're 78% complete. Adverse credit has been completed, previous address history has been completed, the landlord reference is in progress, the employer reference is in progress, everything else is done. So the applicant can then click on See Status, and they can see that a request has been sent to Jamie at Bouch, but they can give them a nudge to speed things up. It does give them the ability as well to update that email address if they wanted to, and they just click Update Referee Details. It would take them back to that page. They can change the email address in there, scroll through to the end, and that will automatically resend that reference as well. So there's no need for them to go back in and resend it. And that is the tenant journey at a glance. Many thanks.